And so the way he went about losing this weight, personally, not a fan. I wouldn't recommend it at all. And what it often leads to is yo-yo dieting. And it happened to him. It worked briefly, sure. But did it work in the long haul? Afraid not. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Stranger Things star David Harbour, he shares his secrets on how he was able to lose 75 pounds for his transformation for Stranger Things. And this transformation, it comprised of both physical and mental changes. He had been struggling with mental health, and he incorporated running. Running slow and steady long runs, sometimes 60 to 90 minutes. And doing this form of list cardio, it relieved a lot of stress. He was able to get rid of some of the anxiety, and simply going about his runs made him feel better. When you exercise, perform cardio, your body releases endorphins. These are feel-good hormones, and it's an excellent way to get rid of the daily stresses. In today's day and age, it seems people are all about HIIT cardio, get it in and out and get it over with. Not a fan of that. Personally, I think it's better to do low intensity, steady state cardio than HIIT cardio. HIIT cardio, high intensity intervals, very, very strenuous on the body. And for most people, especially when you're overweight, this high impact stuff, it's not good for the body. Damage your knees, your back, and so on. And so what's more important is that you just put in the steps. Take your time and gradually ease into the program. And so the way he went about losing this weight, personally, not a fan. I wouldn't recommend it at all. And what it often leads to is yo-yo dieting. And it happened to him. It worked briefly, sure. But did it work in the long haul? Afraid not. And so in the first 3 months of this transformation, he lost almost 50 pounds. Said it was pretty easy at first. The weight was flying off. When you cut your calories that dramatically, you're going to lose a lot of weight. Problem is your BMR and your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the amount of calories you're burning at rest and during the day, it dramatically will begin to fall. No longer will you have as fast a metabolism, and eventually it catches up. And so after the first 3 months where he shed almost 50 pounds, the weight loss was very, very slow and tedious after that. When I started, it was sort of easy. As you lose more and more weight, it's much harder because your body is like, we gotta stop doing this. But in the beginning, it was liberating. And so you can see, easy at first and having fun. You're seeing those changes in the mirror almost every single day. But sooner or later, it catches up and then it becomes a lot harder. And how long will you actually be able to sustain the severe calorie deficit? And so my advice, lose the weight as slow as possible. The slower, the better. Studies will show the slower you lose the weight, the more muscle you're gonna keep, more calories you can burn, the easier it is, and the more likely you are to stay on the diet and keep the weight off once you do in fact lose it. And so what did he do? He chose intermittent fasting. He only ate during a 6-hour window starting around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And so essentially he would get up, he was skipping breakfast and only eating for 6 hours in the afternoon and early evening. This allowed him to eat a lot of food during those 6 hours, but admittedly he says, I don't know if it's just a code for starvation, but it's basically like, I was hungry a lot of the time. Eventually, as it got harder to lose weight, he started to fast even longer. He would go on 2 24-hour fasts each and every week. And so, yeah, he lost the weight, it worked, but at what cost? 2 of the days out of 7, he was eating nothing. The other 5 days, eating for only 6 hours each and every day. And on top of this, doing 60 to 9 minutes of slow jogging. Does that sound like something that you can maintain for the rest of your life? I don't think so, and guess what? He's already regained all of the weight. And so since losing the weight, he's already regained it to play Santa in a new movie role. Imagine putting in all that work to lose all that weight only to regain it all shortly after. My personal opinion is all of these bulks and cuts, aka yo-yo dieting as is displayed here, that can lead to eating disorders and body dysmorphia. He says it himself. All this up and down is not good for the body and I'll have to give it up soon. But it is such a fun part of the job to live in a different version of your skin for a while. And so perhaps you just get bored. You're overweight, obese, fat for a while and you get sick of it. And then for a while you cut down, you shred down, and you have a totally different appearance. Perhaps people treat you differently. And so you get used to that and you go back and forth from one body type to another. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you, if you've been overweight and then you lose the weight and get shredded, you have abs and so on, and then you regain the weight and you remember how you used to look and you compare yourself to that look, it can be very hard on your mental health. You feel great about yourself, lots of dopamine as you're losing the weight. People are complimenting you, saying, wow, did you lose weight? How much weight did you lose? What did you do to lose all that weight? But then a year later, when you regain all the weight and no longer are people complimenting you in the same way, they're not asking you what you did to lose the weight. They might be saying, oh, you still look great. Body positivity, just love yourself. You didn't look good then anyway. So my advice, as always, halfway there. Rather than losing all the weight, lose half. Lose half, but keep that weight off. So much better, so much healthier than losing 100 pounds, gaining 100. Just drop 50 and keep the 50 off. It's not about being perfect. It's simply about being better than you are. And so another benefit of weight loss is it's so much better for your joints. Often not spoken, when you're severely overweight, it's hard on the joints, the ankles, the knees, back, and so on. So he lost all this weight, allowed him to start running. Think of it. If he was 270 pounds, you really think it's easy on the body to start running for 60 to 90 minutes? A lot easier when you're weighing under 200 pounds. And so what did he eat? Well, at first he could eat anything. It didn't matter. He was eating so many calories. He was in a surplus to get to 270. And so once he went on a diet, it was easy. He could still eat burgers, fries, pancakes, all the foods that he enjoyed. And so as he dropped more and more weight, it became more difficult. And he says you have to be careful not to get an eating disorder. There's a fine line between an eating disorder and how far you can push. And I do believe he was treading on some really thin ice, as it's very close to an eating disorder when you start cutting out all the different foods. He cut out most of the meats and was eating lots of vegetables and low-calorie dense foods so that he could feel full and satiated. He cut out sugar, the diet continued to get cleaner, and before you know it, he's hardly eating any variety of foods whatsoever. What started as he could eat anything on his diet soon ended in had to eat mostly vegetables and foods that most people really wouldn't enjoy. I was eating basically like cardboard. I think the real treat was my trainer letting me have a rice cake. Like, cake. And so is that the diet you want to follow? Looking for a diet that you can follow that makes sense? Consider getting my freaking cookbook. High volume, delicious, amazing recipes for the big eater. Tons of protein. Pizzas, burgers, protein ice cream, wraps, lasagnas, sloppy Greg in the mouth. So many delicious meals, you will not believe what you get to eat on this diet. It's the forever diet, the circle diet, the diet that you can maintain for the rest of your life. Also, the Circle Diet book, my life's work, how to lose weight and keep it off, all the tricks I've learned over decades of learning, reading, coaching other people. And he was asked, can you define mental illness? And I really liked his definition. It's really easy to understand, so I'm going to read it. It's sanity or the ability to exist in the world untroubled. And so if you're someone who's feeling troubled, that your mind is always worrying about certain things, then perhaps tell other people. If you suffer in silence, you don't share your opinions, how will you know? You might have somebody that's going through the same thing that they can relate. You can talk things through, feel better about yourself. And so if you're going through the world feeling troubled, please tell someone. You can only get help if you ask. Wishing David Harbour the best. Hopefully he can lose the weight again, only this time keep it off. And listen, Santa Claus doesn't have to be fat. Just because Santa Claus was fat in the past, can't Santa train harder than last time, get in shape, lose the weight, keep it off? Just because Santa was obese in the past doesn't mean Santa has to be obese forever. Right, kids? Do you not want Santa to get in shape, to live a long and healthy life, improve his quality of life, improve his heart? Get Santa doing 150 minutes of cardio a week. Get him in the weight room, pump it up, and get Santa more freaking jacked than last time. Imagine Santa, Mr. Aesthetic. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, ending it here. And remember, want to get the cookbooks, training books, Circle Diet book, training plans by me and my team, visit gregdoucette.com. Also, Instagram, gregdoucetteIB Please check out the bloop, subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. And until next time, I'm out.